original documents?
Yes, sir.
Madam William, wakati why?
Yes.
Before we proceed, as a matter of procedure, we do an inspection report.
I, Winnie Wakati Liwali, do swear that the evidence I shall give before this committee on the matters under consideration shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Thank you. Welcome to the Committee on Finance and Economic Planning. Thank you for the Kilifi Assembly Standing Orders to mandate, among others, is prepared and approve nominees appointed by the Governor to the position of County Chief Officer in charge of finance. We will engage you to determine the stability or otherwise involving the office which you have been invited pending the appointment of others. The committee is chaired by myself, Jonathan Biakono, representing the great people by everyone. I invite our members to introduce themselves, starting with the vice chairperson, and then alone. The staff will introduce themselves. Any member who has conflict of interest can hear it as you introduce yourself.
My name is Grace Kachi, the vice person of this committee.
Member of the
My name is Amir Andasi Maneva, and I'm the committee in finance.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Mohan Mugabe. I'm here at the episode from family.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Joseph Munyoki Dioka, Special Elect, representing the minority.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Honorable Theophilus Kalam Paul, MCA Karashwa, member of this committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Ibrahim Abdurrahman, majority leader and a member of this committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Arashi Odiabo, and Chairman Samuel, member of the committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Christian Tari, representing Maratayo, and a member of this committee.
My name is Ila Atombe.
My name is Edna Beno, clerk to the committee.
Officials Kilifi, legal counsel.
I'm just going to bring the other students and
Therefore, there was occasion.
Mushio Kastandrani, Friend Committee, representing them.
I am Lilian Brown, the principal assistant
Silas Mulewa,
Clara Dan, Secretary.
Thank you, members, and the secretariat. Madam We are going to engage you in the next 1 hour or so to establish suitability or otherwise for the office to which you have been elected. To expect you will answer all the questions put to you clearly and precisely. We expect that we address the committee through the chair, and also our members shall be asking you questions through the chair. So feel free and relax. And tell us whatever we ask you. We shall give you time to tell us your story, who you are, and the journey through life where you are now. But before that, we need to comply with a few basics. 1. Do you have a tax compliance certificate?
Yes, I do.
Do you have a certificate of clearance from the Higher Education Loans Board?
Yes, I do.
Do you have a clearance to the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission?
Yes, I do.
Do you have clearance certificate from the Director of Criminal Investigation?
Yes, I do.
Have you been charged or convicted of any offense in a court of law?
No.
Are you a member of any political party?
No.
Are you a citizen of any other country apart from Kenya?
No.
At a personal level, what is your financial net worth?
At 11.6 million.
What is it made up of?
Assets. Total assets amounting to 13.9 million, and the total liabilities at 3.9 million.
At
3.9 million. The total liabilities are at 3.9 million, and total assets are at 3.5 million.
I think the problem is not on the us. Please, can you repeat that? In a loud voice.
Okay. My total assets are at 13.5 million, and total liabilities are at 3.9 million. So that makes my net worth at 9.6 million.
Thank you. Now please tell us your journey in your life.
Thank you, Chair and honorable members. My name is Winnie Wakati Luwali from Mitsano village in Ganze ward, Ganze sub-county, Kilifi county. I was born on the 21st of February 1990. I'm 32 years of age. I started my education in the year 1996 at Ratriza Primary School. Then later on, I joined another school. And in 2003, I completed my CCSE. Attaining 386 marks out of the possible 500 marks. Thereafter, the following year, I joined the State House Girls High School in Nairobi for my O-levels. That was from 2004 to 2007, where I did my KCSE and I attained a grade of B-. Later, the following year, I joined the Catholic University of Eastern Africa, and it was a proud moment for me because I'm the first person from my village to go to university. So 2007 to 2012, I pursued my Bachelor's of Commerce degree at the Catholic University of Eastern Africa and graduated with the second class upper division. Later the same year, in 2012, I was blessed to start my career, my banking career at Chase Bank Kenya Limited. It's now the SBM Bank Limited. and I worked there from 2012 to 2018. And in these years, I served in various departments at the bank, ranging from operations to branch management, other departments of credit department, treasury department, until the year 2018, when I left, where I was serving at the capacity of acting service delivery manager. Later, the next year, in 2019, I joined the Kilifi County. I joined Kilifi County in the capacity of County Public Service Board member, where I'm still working up to date. I'm also pursuing my master's degree. I'm about to start my thesis, and today I'm here, having been nominated as a Chief Officer Finance to be vetted by this honorable committee.
Thank you for that brief. Are you a member of any professional boards?
Yes. Yes, I'm a member of 3 professional bodies. One is the Kenya Institute of Bankers. I'm a member of the Institute of Human Resource Management, and I'm a member of the Kenya Institute of Management.
For that presentation, I will now give members a chance to ask some questions, starting with my vice chairperson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My first question, Madam Muni.
Yes.
You have been nominated for the position of a Chief Officer of Finance. What do you think will be your duties, and how best you will perform these duties for the best of our Kilifi residents?
Okay. Thank you for that question. One of my duties as a Chief Officer is the general coordination and administration of the department. I'll be in charge of that. 2, I will be offering leadership to strategic policy making of the department. 3, I will be in charge and I will be leading my team in the development of strategic plans for the department. 4, I will also be in charge of managing the performance of the entire department. 5 is that I will ensure that all the laws that are governing the county and the national laws from the county and the national government are strictly adhered to. Another role is to ensure that I promote the national values and principles of governance as outlined in Article 10 and Article 232 of the Constitution. Another duty will be to ensure that with my team, we come up with efficient programs that are going to benefit the people of Kilifi, and they will be in line with the county integrated development plans. Yes. And on top of that, I will be the departmental accounting officer. That means I will be in charge of the resources of the department. So how I'm going to ensure this is done, that it benefits the people of Kilifi, I need to ensure prudent use of these resources. I need to ensure that I instill a culture of professionalism among the staff and those people under me, under my team, so that at the end of it all, for there to be efficient service delivery in Kilifi, we need to ensure that people work very ethical manner, in a professional manner. So as at the end of the day, we get value for money, and the biggest stakeholders the biggest stakeholder, which are the Kilifi people, they are the ones who are going to benefit.
Okay, thank you. I also have another question for you, Madam Mondi. Having you served as a board member, are you aware of the number of casual workers we have in the county? And if you do, what is your take on the engagement of the casuals, and what strategies will you put in the place to address the rights of casual workers in the county if approved for this position?
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. On the issue of casual workers have been they've posed a very great debate in Kilifi County, especially in line with how they have been engaged. Because one, as the board does not allow engagement of casuals. But so many advisories have been done regarding the same. They only needs to be authorized whenever there is an engagement, there's need for engagement of casuals. The request needs to come to the board, and the boards need to approve. You need to, the departments, respective departments or the user departments, they need to inform the board. You need this number of casuals. What is the purpose? What is their purpose? And for what duration are they going to be engaged? But as it is, there are so many advisories on that were directing departments not to engage casuals. Some of them were heeded to, some of them were not, where we had irregular engagements of casuals. But I also want to thank His Excellency the Governor for coming up with the Human Resource Task Force, which is going to help a great deal in the verification of some of these casuals, so that we can get to know. We can actually verify are the casuals really required, and on the engagement process. But still, on the same, once I become the chief officer, we are going to ensure that, especially in the finance docket. In the finance docket, we need to ensure that, I will need to ensure that the staff who are there is accountability. Because if you ask me, finance is a very sensitive docket, and we need people who are accountable. Suppose I have casuals in the finance department, it's going to be very hard for me to hold this person accountable, as opposed to when this person is on permanent terms. So I will also work hand in hand with the board and the human resource department to ensure that the proper verification is done, and engagement of casuals, if need be, is done in a proper and procedural manner. Thank you.
Madam Lee,
Yes.
you have informed this committee that you are a member of the Kilifi County Public Service Board.
Yes.
How was this recruitment done when you were part of the system?
Okay. Thank you, Chair, for that question. One, let me say that I am here on merit, and once this advertisement was made for county chief officers, yes, I did apply for the position, but I stood guided by the Leadership and Integrity Act, Section 16 of the Leadership and Integrity Act, and that is on conflict of interest, and I ensured that I declare my conflict. Because yes, as you said, I'm a member of the board, and it is the same board that is going to actually manage the entire process. So I declared my conflict of interest. I signed a conflict of interest declaration form, and I recused myself from participating in in the entire process. And also to add on that, during the interviews of the chief officers, I can tell this panel that I was interviewed by people not known to me. None of the board members interviewed me because I believe because of the transparency. There needed to be transparency in the whole process. So I was interviewed by an external panel with people not known to me because I believe the board also recused itself to have a fair playing ground for all the candidates. So I would say that it was done in a transparent manner, and I am here on merit.
Next question.
Yes, Madam Weni Wakati
Right.
Luwali.
Yes.
On your CV and introduction, you have indicated that you have worked as a board member in Kilifi, County Public Service Board, and the banking sector. And now, if we here, honorable members, approve this nomination of you, do you think this knowledge and experience will help you to deliver in the docket you have been nominated to?
Thank you, Honorable Ogarashi. Thank you for that, Mr. Fondo. Yes, Honorable Mheshimiwa Fondo. Thank you for that question. Yes, I would like to say that I began my career in banking, and throughout the years, my professional experience at the bank, I garnered a lot of skills in accounting management, in branch management and internal controls. While at the bank, I was a branch custodian, whereby you authorize all payments. Whatever money goes out, you need to authorize. Whatever transfers, either international or local, I had to authorize all those payments. I garnered knowledge and skills on human resource management. I garnered management skills. So this, especially at the bank and at the branch level, you literally do everything in all dimensions, from operations, from getting business, to ensuring cash, ensuring there's liquidity, enough liquidity in the bank, and all that. And this later on, when I joined the County Public Service Board. So my stay at the board, I would say, has actually sharpened and honed more the skills that I acquired at the bank. And this is because I am coming in the public sector, in the public sector. So here I am, I have the requisite academic qualifications, and in terms of experience, I bring on board professional experience from the private sector. I bring professional experience from the public sector because my stint at the County Public Service Board has enabled me to understand how government operates. And I also wish to add that in banking, it is a very high risk sector. It is a very high risk sector because you're dealing with the funds. You're dealing with the people's money. And of course, the principles of financial management are the same everywhere, whether in private sector, whether in the public sector, they are the same. You need to ensure the prudent use of the resources. You need to ensure that Yes, I was saying the principles for financial management are the same in the private sector, in the public sector, because at the end of the day, you need to ensure there's prudent use of resources. You need to ensure there's value for money. Yeah? You need to ensure there's transparency and accountability. So I would say that with my academic qualifications, with my experience at the bank and at the board, and also when you come down at the personal level, one, I know I am a performer. One, because when I started my career, I just found myself being promoted. After 1 year, I got promoted. After 2 years, I got promoted because, one, I was a performer. I am a performer. I have a strong work ethic. I value professionalism. I have high integrity. So a combination of all that places me at a position where I have the requisite skills, knowledge and skills to actually perform this job.
Thank you. I remember in this response, you have a strong work ethics.
Yes.
What administrative measures do you put in place to ensure that there is discipline and accountability?
In accountability, okay. Now, especially in the finance docket, it is a very sensitive docket. Therefore, accountability is key. You need to ensure the resources, there is economic use of resources. Yeah. So one, now at the finance docket, I will need to ensure that there are very strong internal systems in place. That will mean automation of some of the accounting services and some of the finance services. This will promote efficiency and effectiveness. I'll also borrow from my previous experience on internal controls on matters of risk management. You need to ensure you manage the risk in terms of strong password policies. You need to. I will need to ensure that I have constant trainings with my team, because I need part of my mandate as the county chief officer is to promote national values and principles of governance. So this is very key. I will need to do trainings, because at the end of the day, integrity is key. Trainings to promote integrity and professionalism, the department. Trainings for my teams to be abreast with what is happening in the financial sector, that is in the public sector. I will need to ensure that there is the staff. I need to ensure there's rotation of staff, because at times some of these there's accountability, the lack of accountability, and sometimes as employees, when you're somewhere at a very long time, you tend to dominate so much and feel indispensable. Yeah. So you ensure there's a rotation of staff. You ensure that people go on leave, because there are instances where people do not want to go on leave, because when they go on leave, I'm going to miss out on ABCD. Yeah. And another thing is to ensure that there is strict control and adherence to the budget. Nothing should be spent outside the budget. I need to ensure that there is strict adherence to the procurement plans. And nothing should be procured outside the plans. And another thing is to ensure that there's proper performance management is given a lot of importance, because once you know this is what you are expected to do, and this should be the outcome, it becomes very easy to gauge an individual, and it becomes very easy to gauge somebody's performance. Another thing is to ensure there is separation of duties, so that each and every one of the employees know they are accountable, that this is what you're expected to do, these are your duties, to avoid cases where, or instances where, duties overlap. So it becomes very hard to hold somebody into account, because I do the same thing as you do. So it gets to a point, maybe the three people are doing almost similar duties. So it becomes very hard to identify and hold somebody accountable.
Before you proceed, thank you, but
Yes.
we are looking for
Okay.
Good Chair.
Yes.
Madam, now that you've mentioned the budget,
Yes.
and that you say you will make sure that you install accountability and make sure that none of the expenditures in Kilifi County will be spent out of the budget. Currently, we are with information that the bills which are not paid, the pending bills in Kilifi County have gone up to around 5 billion, of which we know that the limit should be around 1 billion. How will you control, see that in future, Kilifi County does not spend more than what it's supposed to spend in terms of pending bills?
Okay. Thank you, Honorable Mambire, for that question. As you said, yes, I know the issue of pending bill is a headache, not just to Kilifi County, but to other counties and even the national government also. And there are so many ways of that I look at it, and how I would ensure, to try and slowly eliminate this problem, because there's a lot of human crime on the pending bills and payments. One, I think we need to ask ourselves what brings about these pending bills in the first place. Yes, because one, there is some of these bills are paid, they are not completed in time. Two, once a bill, once say a project is not completed, it becomes, and it needs to, it has not been completed, or maybe it has been partially paid. So I will ensure that the balance is actually reported in the next budget. So to allow completion of the project, because I know there are instances where the project was for this financial year, but it was not completed. Maybe it was paid half. Then come next financial year, the money is actually reverted to other areas. So that's another issue. Another thing, we also need to ensure that we do not overcommit our revenue, because when we know that we can raise about 2 billion. Currently we are at around 800 million in terms of revenue. But when we budget that our own source revenue will be, say, 1.5 billion, that in itself already, if measures are not put in place on how to bridge the gap from the 800 million or 900 million to the 1.5 million, that in itself is those are actually pending bills in the office. Yeah, because projects will be budgeted for in the with that gap of about 7 or so million, and that money is not there. So the issue of overcommitting the budget, we also need to ensure that when it comes to the payments, the criteria to use is first come, first served. Yeah, of course, when payments with the system, with the IFMI system, there is usually a queue of you can actually see this bill came first, then it was followed by this. So when we follow that, we ensure that there is no backlog. Yeah, there's no backlog. And another thing, we also need to follow the law. And the law says pending bills need to be cleared before you can even start spending or procuring or implementing the budget in itself. So those are some of the interventions. And of course, ensuring that there are strict controls and follow-up is done, because we don't want a situation where in Kilifi, people, they provide goods and services, but now it's like you have to literally beg to be paid, because most of the people, they do not have the money. Sometimes they go and they ask for the money in terms of loans, and so when the government holds all that money, and these are issues that can actually be streamlined, it just boils down to streamlining the processes. Yes.
Thank you. Next question.
Through the chair. Madam Winnie, I'm Joseph Munyoki, Special Elect. My question is still on the pending bills for the junior employees. We've had so many cries from the drivers, the junior employees. They've not received their allowances. They go out on trips. Senior, the cabinet, the CEC, CCM, and chief officers. But the management, they get sorted their allowances, but the junior employees, they are not paid, and there are so many pending. How do you plan to deal with that to ensure that there's that equity and fairness to all?
Thank you, Honorable Nyoki, for that question. And I've also said in the previous question, I feel that once we have a set criteria of how the bills come in, yeah, of how the bills, of how these vouchers come in. You know very well that this amount, this bill came, and this one came first. I will still insist on the first come, first served criteria. One, and also need to liaise with departments that yes, you have brought these vouchers and these bills. What plan do you have? Are there enough resources to actually to make this payment in the respective from the respective votes? Yeah. So sometimes you may get a department has say over about 15 million maybe, and the votes are actually less. So they also need to come up with a plan. Yes, we want for education department. This is what we have. These are the money that we have, and these are the pending. These are the pending bills. These are the vouchers that you wish to be paid. So that way it makes work easier. So sometimes I think there's that lack. That coordination needs to be there. That when people, you don't just send the documents, the vouchers, but it needs to be clear. It needs to be clear that the money is available, and once the money is available and all the guidelines and procedures have been followed, then I don't think there's anything that would hinder an impediment to the payment of those bills.
Madam Winnie?
Yes.
So please, I still request again that you summarize your answer.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, yes.
Honorable Rashid Ibrahim. Thank you. Yeah. Madam Winnie,
Yes.
the adoption of the development budget, the financial year 2021.
Sorry?
The adoption
Yes.
of development budget in the year 2021-2022
Yes.
was at 35.4%,
Yes.
according to the report from the Controller of Budget. What do you think, you as Winnie, what do you think are the cause of the low absorption? And if improved, what measures will you put in place to ensure that the absorption is improved to a higher percentage?
Okay. Thank you. Honorable Rashid for that question. One, on the issue of absorption, I would say when projects, let me use projects, when projects are being incorporated in the budget, we need to ensure that once the budget has been approved for these projects, the bill of quantities are also ready. Yes, because at times you may find that the budget has been approved and the projects have been completed, but some of the bill of quantities are not yet even ready. So it eats up on the first few quarters of the financial year. So by the time these projects are getting implemented, they may not even the contractors may not even be able to complete these projects in time. Then two, we have issue of awarding contracts to projects to contractors who are not qualified. One, they may not be qualified. They have been awarded the project. They do not have the financial muscle. Yeah, they do not have the financial muscle, so they end up one. They have been awarded. That is when they start sourcing for funds. They start sourcing for funds. They start sometimes they even start brokering the projects. This takes a very long time before they actually go on site. Yeah, so that also eats up on the time that would have been taken to complete these projects. And by the end of the year, some of these projects may not have been completed. Three, we can also say that there needs to be a proper project management and project management or contract management team, whereby you know very well that if you have been awarded this project, it needs to be done, it needs to be completed within the stipulated time. If it goes beyond that, some of these contractors need to be penalized. And another issue would be on performance contracting and performance management, whereby it is very clear from the chief officers to the inspectors that there is project that needs to be completed by this time. So you need to ensure by the end of the second quarter or the third quarter, all these projects are completed in time. So that so as to avoid low absorption.
Do you think professional knowledge such as CPA, SCCA, and FCA is important for the position of chief officer? If yes, do you think your lack of it will affect your performance in the office that you have been proposed to serve?
Sorry, can you repeat?
Do you think that professional knowledge such that SCCA, CPA, and CFA is important to the position that you have been nominated? If yes, from your CV you don't, do you think can affect your work?
Okay. Thank you very much, Honorable Nobere, for that question. One, let me begin by saying that membership to these professional bodies are important. Yes, they are key because they promote the standards of technical and ethical competencies. And in as much as they are important, yes, but not in isolation. For me, this docket, the finance docket, requires someone who has knowledge someone who has accounting knowledge. It requires someone who has financial knowledge. It requires someone who has human resource management knowledge and skills, because you will be managing people in your department. It requires someone who has management skills. Yeah, and all of these have been adequately covered in my degree, one. Two, they have also been covered in my coursework for my MBA. Have also been covered in my work experience in my professional work of experience over the years. So, and I would also like to tell this panel that when I am a member of the Kenya Institute of Bankers, the Kenya Institute of Bankers, which I'd say covers the financial aspect of the job. I am a member of the Institute of Human Resource Management, which covers the human resource management aspect of this job. And I'm also a member of the Kenya Institute of Management, which covers the management, management aspects of this job. So I would say that a combination of all this I would say that I am confident that a combination of this, I have the requisite knowledge, skills, and professional know-how to perform this job.
Are you a member of this firm?
No.
Then if you are not a member of this firm, how will you sign for financial documents now that it is required by law for one to sign a financial document?
Okay. The financial, we have, I'm sure we also have, because with the requirements, it is, I would say it is not really a cut. Yeah? It is really a kind of law, and I will also say that I have teams that will be working under me, and these are technical teams, because being the chief officer, you are at the helm. Yeah, you have a bird's eye view of the leadership and management of the department. We have technical people under me that will be.
Thank you.
Doing
Can
this.
you tell us, through the chair, the budget making process?
Okay, thank you. So for the budget making process, one starts with the budget circular. The budget circular from the county executive member of finance, which is this is by 30th, usually 30th of August. So the county executive member of finance issues a budget circular, of course stipulating the timelines and the procedures to be followed in preparing the budget. After that, that's the 1st of September. The 1st of September, now we go down to the CIDPs, the sectoral plans, the sectoral plans and the annual development plans, which are going to give us the priority areas, and the medium-term expenditure for for preparing the budget. Then from there, on that is 1st of September. Then 30th of September, we have the county budget review outlook paper. So the county budget review outlook paper basically gives a review of the previous fiscal budget, how it was implemented, and it also sets guidelines on the preparation of the budget for the following year. Then from there, by 28th of February, we'll have the county fiscal strategy paper. So the county fiscal strategy paper basically gives guidelines on, it spells out the priority areas with the priority areas for the budget, and it also gives us the ceilings for the budget. And the county fiscal strategy paper needs to be submitted by the 28th of February to the county assembly. And of course, it needs to take into consideration views from the Commission of Revenue Allocation. It needs to take views from the public, and it needs to be approved within 14 days. So that on mid-March, around 14th of March is when it needs to be approved. And still on the 28th of February, we have the debt management strategy paper. So the debt management strategy paper basically tells us or informs how the county is going to manage its present and future liabilities. Then from there we have, after the debt management strategy paper, that is on 28th of February, we will have departments submitting their estimates, the budget estimates, the expenditure estimates to the Treasury. From there, Treasury is going to consolidate all those estimates, and after consolidating all those estimates, now the county executive member of finance is going to present these estimates to the county executive committee, or rather the cabinet, for approval. So once the cabinet approves, the county executive committee member needs to submit the estimates to the county assembly, and this should be done by the 30th of April. So after 30th of April, now we have the appropriations, bill for the estimates. So from here, the county assembly deliberates, and after deliberating, it approves the budget. Yes. So after it approves the budget, and it's also another aspect that we need to say is that the county assembly, there's the financial bill, which also needs to be approved at the same time, because the financial bill basically tells us how we are going to raise revenue, how the budget is going to be funded. So they need to be approved hand in hand. So after they are approved, that is, it should be by 30th of June. So by 30th of June, once they are approved, the governor, His Excellency, the governor needs to assent to the bills. So once the governor assents to the bills, now they become law. Yeah. So once they become law, that means that we have authority to start implementing the budget. So once the governor assents, there's the gazettement. The budget needs to be gazetted. After gazettement, now we can start implementing the budget. And now after implementing the budget, maybe there are other issues that have come up, there are the emergencies, there's reporting that needs to be done, and that is where the supplementary budget comes in. Then from there, the cycle continues.
When was due to take 2 months, take 2 more questions, then
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Madam, I'm Honorable Mero, He's a ghost worker. Then the county has been losing money to the ghost workers. We also understand that there are ghost workers in the docket you have been nominated to. If approved, how are you going to address the issue of ghost workers to avoid further loss of public funds into the country?
Thank you, Honorable Maneno. I would say a ghost worker is someone who appears to exist in a certain organization, and actually those salaries, this person is paid, but in the real sense, this person does not exist. Yeah. So I would say they are getting paid fraudulently. Yes, and yes, we cannot rule out the fact that they are ghost workers in the various departments. And so, what the measures or interventions I would put in place to curb the issue of ghost workers? One, I would ensure we have audits, staff audits. Yeah, we have staff audits. Two, I would ensure that we have personal performance reviews. This is to enhance one-on-one. Okay, fine, what do you do? So that way you're able to know who's there, who's not, when you're doing the personal performance reviews. Three, to ensure there is up-to-date records, personal information, there's up-to-date personal records of this staff. Four, sometimes it will also warrant to incorporate technology where we introduce biometric systems of clocking in, so that we can be able to know who is staff and who is not. Four, we will also ensure that, of course, in liaison with any consultation with other departments like HR, ensure that there are strict controls of the pay, because that is where it starts.
Madam Wu,
Yes.
you are coming as a chief officer finance. Do you know the budget for Kilifi County and how it is financed?
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. The county budget that now stands at 14.2 billion, and the budget is financed in two ways. One, through the equitable share from the national government, and two, our own the own source revenue, the revenue that we generate in the county. Yes, it could either be in terms of business permits, that is our own source revenue, the collections from parking fees, what is raised before approvals approvals and payments of plans, yeah, payments done for single business permits, or what is paid to CES, yeah.
Currently, you have been collecting revenue collections. Which are the means you are going to use to increase that collection?
Okay. One, I think the number one issue will be automation of the revenue collection. Yeah, automation of revenue collection. Yes, automation of revenue collection. Two, we would also ensure that we reduce the human interaction as much as possible, because that is where there is income leakage, a lot of income leakage. Yes, and also three, another aspect that we'll really emphasize on will be the trainings on integrity. This one is very, very key, because the moment we instill this issue of integrity and the ethical practices, we'll be able to curb some of these issues. And also, we also look at reviewing some of this, because as it stands today in Kilifi, I think that is one of the cheapest. People pay, parking is the cheapest in Kilifi, I think at 50 shillings. We also have, we get revenue from the houses, rent from houses, county government houses, which are very low. Sometimes you find that these people are paying as little as 2,000 shillings, but the same people, they don't even live there. They have hired the houses they have rented the houses to other people. So we can also look at a higher price. Maybe you're paying 2,000, but you rent the house at 7,000. So we can also look at reviewing this.
Thank you. Members, we'll take one more question from Bura, then
Yes, Madam Winnie, I'm Ronald Bull. I wish to take you back. I wish to take you back, Madam. I wish to know whether you are an accountant or a bank by profession. A bank. Again, there are some incidences where money is lost, especially the public fund, through dubious payments and again through debt during the revenue collection. What do you think you can do to curb the loss of these funds?
Okay. Thank you, Honorable Lugura, for that question. One, I would say that we need to have proper internal controls. Whereby we will be able to do proper audits. We have audit trails, checking of audit trails. We need to ensure up-to-date reconciliations of accounts. We need to ensure that staff are accountable, because once money is lost and nothing is done, there are no consequences. People tend to there's a lot of impunity. So we need to be very strict and ensure that you are accountable for your actions. Yes. So there's the issue of, I had mentioned earlier, having strong password policies, ensuring that staff go for training, they understand what, you ensure there's capacity building for the staff, so that somebody knows what exactly they're supposed to do, what exactly. I think that to some extent you even need to have consequence script where you know you are responsible for your actions and this is what you're supposed to do. And we also need to ensure that there are automation of services and also accounting services. Of course, also ensuring that the service charter which is strictly adhered to. Yeah, that this, if it is an issue of payments, there should be no gaps and no lapses or delays in the entire process, and ensuring that the procurement process is followed to the letter.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you for presenting this exercise. Let's take this on behalf of the Kilifi to help you, and if you have any comments or corrections,
Thank you, Chair and honorable members. Let me take this opportunity first to thank each and every one of you, and for this opportunity to be before you and tell you of what I want to do for the Kilifi people, and I look forward to serving the people of Kilifi with the utmost, with the diligence and passion, because at the end of the day, it is the positive impact that you're going to make to the life of that person in Kilifi County, which I believe has a ripple effect. And at the end of the day, we just need to ensure that the Kilifi people get value for money, and we take Kilifi County to greater heights. So I'm happy to be here, and I look forward to be working with this great committee in future in consultation, so as to ensure we deliver to the people of Kilifi. Thank you.
Thank you once again. Please take the documents, and on behalf of this committee, we wish you the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, and God bless you all.
Thank you.